Hey, everybody. How is everybody doing today? It is Thursday. It is our migraine strategy call day. I am Debbie Waidl. I am your certified migraine health coach specialist here to help you find your migraine freedom without having to use pills, quick fixes, and just really all of those band-aids. We are looking to help you actually get to the root cause of your migraine so that you can get your life back. Let me just double check and make sure that we are live on Facebook and that I have a member of my team over there to answer any questions or chat with you on that end. I always like to double check before we get going. Marvelous. Looks like we are live. So if you're over there watching on Facebook, do me a favor, say hi. Let me know where you're watching from, as we are super excited to get started. And I have a massive special guest here with me today. I have Stacy here with me today, who is a member of our migraine community. How are you, Stacy?
I'm doing well, thank you.
Great. Well, thank you so much for being here today to share your story with everyone. I really appreciate it.
Thanks for having me.
Absolutely. Well, before we get started, let me just give you a little bit of a background on Stacy so that you know who you are listening to today. So Stacy is a freelance writer and editor and indie author from Oklahoma who suffered from migraines for almost 25 years. Stacy enjoys reading, playing with her puppy, her new puppy, attending Bible study with a fun group of ladies, and spending time with her friends and family. You went from having 12 plus migraine days a month to now we're looking at 2 or 3, and each one is a little less severe than the one before. And you've really gotten to the point where you're needing less and less medication to get rid of those, which is wonderful. I believe you told me that these used to last 2 to 4 days, and now they're lasting 1 to 2 days for you. So
yes,
you've done a lot of hard work over the last 4 months, and it's really showing.
Yes, thank you.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Well, if you don't mind, do you mind giving us the quick elevator version of your migraine journey, kind of what you've tried over the years? And, everyone really likes to hear those stories so that they can kind of associate what they've done, and what they're doing with your success.
Yes, absolutely. So like you mentioned, I had migraines for about 25 years altogether. They started when I was 20, and I actually didn't know what it was at first because I had headaches, but this was different. And so when I finally went to the doctor and was diagnosed with migraine, they gave me preventative medication. They gave me, at the time, things like Zomig, and there were some others that I took. Over the years, I took a lot of different combinations of medication, and some might work for a little while, and then my migraines would get worse, so they would try something else. And eventually I saw a neurologist who tried some different preventative medications that actually seemed to help more. But by the time I had finished my stint with him, which was about 10 years, I think, I was starting to get better, but the side effects from the medication were so bad that I could not wait to get off of those medications. And my migraines did improve enough. I was down to probably, maybe 4 to 6 a month from 25 a month. So I had definitely improved, but I still had 4 to 6 a month. And then that would have been about 6 years ago. And then just over the last 6 years, they have steadily increased again to where I was back to the 12 to 14 a month again.
That's quite a roller coaster ride, which is so common with so many people. I talk to hundreds of women every month, myself, my team, and we hear this story over and over again, where we have this period where it's kind of, oh, I didn't realize they were migraines. Now I know they're migraines. Now they're really bad. Oh, I did some things. They got a little bit better. And it's typically medications, that we're using to find us that relief. Now, you mentioned that the medications weren't making you feel good. Was there another reason why you really wanted to be able to stop these medications?
I just didn't want to have to take medication for the rest of my life, for that particular thing, at least, because it's not a life-threatening illness, but it is debilitating. So I was just wanting to find a way to not have to get back on medication, because I thought surely I'd always thought, there's no way once I start getting a migraine that I
Mhm.
can control that. It's out of my control. And I have learned differently. There are a lot of factors in my lifestyle that I can control, and that makes a big difference.
Absolutely. We are so much more in control of our health than we give ourselves credit for. We think that, and we love our doctors, don't get me wrong, but we think that, what they're telling us, okay, we need this medication, that we actually need it for life when they give it to us. But, as you know, Stacy, that's not the case. What we really need to be doing is looking at this medication, using it for the short term, while we figure out exactly what it is that we need to do to get to our end results, which is no migraines and no meds. So you obviously found me somewhere on Facebook. I'm pretty sure that's how most people end up finding me. So you found us on Facebook, you joined the group. What made you kind of take that leap from just being in the Women's Migraine Freedom group to deciding that you needed more than that? You needed more than being in that group.
Well, there were a couple of things. The first thing was that people from your team reached out, and I was not expecting that kind of personal attention. So that was really nice to know that that was available. And then the month that I joined Women's Migraine Freedom group was a really bad month for migraines. And I thought, I can't keep going in this direction. It's the wrong direction. I have to do something. And so I listened to the testimonials and liked what I heard and joined the Freedoms for Migraine method.
Well, and that's probably part of the reason why you're doing this today, right? You realize how
Yes.
important it is to be able to hear those, which is amazing. And we greatly appreciate your time and everyone else's time that comes on to share their journey, because it is a very personal thing, right? It's a lot of pain. It's a lot of your life that you've had to deal with this. So it is very personal and very kind of you to share. So we got on a call, you took that leap of faith. You decided that this was something that you wanted to do. Are you still happy with that decision?
Yes, absolutely. A friend actually asked me recently if I thought that this was, in the scheme of things, how good of a decision was joining the group. And I said, I think it's probably the best thing I could have ever done for my health.
It's amazing. And what makes you think that, just out of curiosity?
Well, I feel so much better overall, the migraines for sure, but also just in general, a lot of the fatigue and other things that I was dealing with. I don't have any chronic conditions, and I know, a lot of women do have multiple conditions that they're dealing with, and I don't have anything like that, but I just had a lot of fatigue, a lot of soreness, and part of that comes from my work, but and not, and sitting at the computer all day, but just things like that are so much better just because I'm taking better care of myself, because now I know how to take better care of myself.
Exactly. And I'm so glad that you said that, because I think sometimes there's this idea out there that I only work with women if you have a migraine every day, or if you have, 3 other health conditions on top of it. And, you just kind of mentioned you did come with some fatigue and that kind of thing, but you don't have, a laundry list of autoimmune conditions and, cancers and heart disease. So it doesn't really matter whether you have 1 migraine a month or 30 migraines a month. It's really all the same, all the same things that we talked about. So you and I, before we jumped on this call, we're chatting a little bit about how you're doing now in comparison to when you started. So you mentioned that there was a point in time where you were getting 25 migraines a month.
Yes.
Where are you at now?
I've had one in the last 32, 34 days. I've actually lost track. There was a stretch of 24 days where I did not have one. Then I had one, and it's been another probably 7 to 9 days since that one. And that one, I did have to take my medication, but one day, and that was it. And it wasn't the whole day, it was later in the day, so I didn't lose a whole day from it. So just the severity, the duration, the frequency, all of that is so much better.
Absolutely. And in the Freedom from Migraine method, we really work hard at teaching you, when you do get a migraine, once you graduate, to be able to figure out why.
Yes.
So you got this migraine, which still going from 25 down to 1 in 34 days, pretty amazing as you continue to heal. things will continue to get better. What do you think you can attribute that migraine to?
I think it was a combination of things. I had stopped exercising as regularly. I like to walk every day, and I walk my dog every day, but it's gotten cold. And so I had not been consistent. And that was one thing I hadn't done as well with some of my food choices as I had been doing. Lack of sleep, and a lot of stress. Stress is a big one for me, and I think for a lot of people. And just the combination of those things, I think, I don't think it was any one thing, but that impacted the threshold that I'm trying to build. And it was just too much for where my threshold was at, I think.
Absolutely. And for those of you that are brand new to this group, this is something that we really focus on with all of our clients, whether we are working with them in one of our Freedom from Migraine Method programs or Destination Zero or one-on-one or through a challenge, a masterclass, a summit. We work with people in so many different ways, but it all boils down to the fact that we don't focus on trigger elimination. Yes, if we know something is automatically going to cause a migraine, like every time you drink wine, well, then we're going to say, don't drink wine. But the goal is not to figure out every trigger and get rid of them, because if that was the case, that'd be easy. We could do it and be done. The goal is more to work on increasing your threshold so that when you do come into contact with a bunch of triggers, you don't get a migraine. So what Stacy's explaining is she came in contact with a lot of different things in one day that just pushed her over the edge. You know, maybe if she had come in contact with one or two less, she could have stayed below that threshold and been okay. But sometimes that happens. Let's face it, life is life. You know, life is life. It does happen. You know, I consider myself somebody who rarely gets sick, and I don't know if you can hear it, but I'm at the end of a cold. You know, it happens. I pushed myself. I pushed my health threshold, did way too many things. And when I got the cold, I was like, oh yeah, that's not shocking. Not shocking, you got it. And now we just need to work on getting better. So Stacy on a daily basis works on doing things, as she mentioned, you know, taking control of her health, making some lifestyle changes. All of those things take a threshold that used to be this big. When you get 25 migraines a day, you know, where maybe the weather's poor, maybe you don't get a good night's sleep, and Stacy was tipping over the edge right away, to now our threshold's getting a little bigger. So we can do, you know, 3, 4 things, maybe, you know, have those, and then we tip over. And as the healing goes, and as Stacy continues to work on, you know, her lifestyle, the environment she's in, the threshold gets bigger and bigger and bigger. This is how we find migraine freedom, you know, and I am not here to tell you it happens in 2 weeks. I am not here to tell you it happens overnight, but Stacy is here to tell you that it is possible, because each month it gets better and better, right? I mean, did you kind of notice that gradual progression throughout the program when we were working with you?
Yes, I absolutely did.
Yeah, and that's the way we want it, because that's the way it's going to last, right? You know, have you ever done anything where it's too easy and you're like,
Yeah.
all right, that was a little too simple. I'm not sure how that's going to go, right? But we want to be slow and steady. All of my clients probably get really tired of me saying that, but it needs to be slow and steady, because then it becomes a lifestyle habit. It becomes something like riding a bike. And pretty soon Stacy won't even think when she wakes up in the morning. She's just going to react and have an amazing day and not have a migraine, which is so cool. So cool.
Very exciting.
All right. Well, I wish I could see my comments. Unfortunately, my Facebook on my phone is frozen. So sorry if anybody's over there watching right now. I'm sure there are, but we'll get to all your comments afterwards. So make sure you please let us know in the comments right now. If you have any questions, post them, because I can't see them. We'll make sure we get to them afterwards. It's always something with tech, right? Stacy and I jumped on early to fix tech with computer, and it's my phone that's deciding it's not going to cooperate, but that's okay. We'll still get to the questions. And if you're watching on the replay, let us know, #replay. We'll make sure we answer them. So Stacy, tell me, for all of these women that are watching right now, the 3,700 women that are, whether they're suffering with 1 migraine, 30 migraines, have 15 other conditions, or don't have any other conditions, what would you like to say to them today to give them hope that they too can have the similar story to yours?
I just want everybody to know that it is possible to get better, and that, as we've talked about, so much of that is in our control. As I said before, always thought that that was not in my control, but that's not true. And that's something that I think a lot of people believe is this is just how life is. This is just how I am. And I just have to live with this. And that's not the case. We can take control of our health, and we can improve, and we can see great improvements over time if we just take our time and implement the steps and get it done.
Absolutely. Was that a hard thing to think about, when we are so wired to trust everything our doctors say? And again, I love our doctors. I'm not saying they're out there trying to harm us, but how did that feel when you work with these doctors for all these years and they're telling you this, and then you go do something that's totally different and find results? Was that challenging?
It is, yes. But it's a great feeling when it works. Because not everything the doctors told me to do worked either. So, so I thought it's time for something different. So let's see if this, how this works. And it's been fantastic.
Absolutely. And we love kind of being part of women's health team. We still want you to have a doctor. If you have a neurologist, that's great. Primary care physician, functional medicine doctor, doesn't matter. We love to be part of that health team so that we can actually really dive into what each individual woman needs and help them get what they need while their medical doctor is helping them calm the pain down, keep the pain at bay, until we can slowly start working our way off of those medications or Botox or injections, whatever you're doing. So it's great to be able to partner in that way, because then you get the best of both worlds. You don't have to be in massive pain, but you can start feeling better at the same time and not get stuck on medications that are only covering things up. So I love that. That was great, great advice. I love it. Well, I cannot thank everyone enough for being here today, for listening to Stacy's story. I greatly appreciate the time that you spend. I know, especially with women who have migraines, our time is precious. It is so precious. So Stacy, thank you for giving of your time. Everyone watching, thank you for giving of your time. And next week, make sure you join me. Actually, do not join me next week. My apologies. I'm in New York City next week. So next week, there will be no migraine strategy call. Actually, I may jump on for the fun of it and do something fun from New York City. So keep an eye. It just might not be at 1:30. So keep an eye out for me next week to jump on and do something fun at that time. Wouldn't that be cool? Maybe do it in front of the Christmas tree. We'll see. But the week after, we will be on with Sue, who's going to share her story. That'll be December 15th at 1:30 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. So make sure you don't miss that. Again, Stacy, thank you so much.
Thank you. Thank you for allowing me to do this today.
Absolutely. And it is a pure joy to watch and enjoy your freedom, and watch you enjoy your puppy and see all the great things on Facebook that you're able to do now, that you have some more time back. So thank you again. Thank you everyone for being here, and we'll see you in the group. Here's to your migraine-free day, everybody. Take care.